Hey guys, I'm Shaheem Sutherland and welcome to my page. If you don't know who I am, I'm an independent sports multimedia journalist. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel and also my website, ShaheemSutherland.com, and you'll see all the various projects that I've created. I like to use different types of multimedia elements. But today's topic is going to be about 5 and 4 star black high school recruits who decided to choose HBCUs over PWIs. And if they didn't choose, they're considering in choosing, a HBCU. Now, recently, if you've been watching the news, you've seen what's been going on with COVID-19, and then you also seen what's happening to individuals such as Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. And if you don't know, then one, you should watch some news. But two, those three individuals were black individuals who were murdered. Now, how does this have anything to do with black high school recruits? I'm about to tell you right now. So there's been a couple of 5 star athletes who have been sharing how they feel about what's going on in the world, and one of those individuals is Makur Maker. He is a basketball player. He's a senior in high school, and he recently committed to Howard University. He plays center. I know he's related to Thor Maker and I believe another individual who plays in the G League or the NBA. And Makur Maker, he recently decided he was going to commit to an HBCU instead of a predominantly white institute. Now, Makur Maker, as you can see, he has been recruited by all of the top Power 5 schools, UCLA, USC, Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky, and the list goes on and on. Well, Makur, like I said earlier, he decided to sign to Howard University. Another individual who is considering and following in Makur's steps but has not signed yet is Mikey Williams. Now, Mikey Williams, he is he's a freshman in high school, but he's considered the top freshman in basketball, and he's supposed to graduate in the class of 23, and he already has offers from all of the big Power Fives: Arizona State, UCLA, Memphis, Kentucky, Oregon. The list goes on and on. But recently, Williams on Twitter, he decided to post something about He posted something and then put hashtag HBCU, and then he followed up with that by saying that he didn't mind going to a HBCU. And then lastly, I know there's other athletes who are now deciding to go to HBCUs as well, but the athletes that I'm talking about today, they are, like I said, 5 or 4 star black high school recruits. Now, the last person who did something similar to this is Nate Tabor. He is a 4 star recruit, and he is from New Jersey, and he decided to sign to Norfolk State University. And Norfolk State University is an HBCU located in Norfolk, Virginia. While I was learning about Maker, Williams, and Tabor, I decided to take a deep dive to learn some more about athletes who are deciding to go to a HBCU over a Power 5. And while I was doing this research, I learned a lot of things. One of the things that I'm going to point out right now, well, there's several things I'm going to point out, but the first thing is that for the class of 2020, no HBCU football program that plays at the NCAA Division I football level was able to sign a 5 or 4 star high school recruit coming out of high school. You guys see, if you look at this infographic, right here you see all of the HBCUs that play at the NCAA Division I football level, and they play in the SWAC and the MEAC conference. So you see Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Alcorn State, Grambling State, and the list goes on. And out of all of the athletes that they were able to sign coming out of high school, the highest recruit that they were able to sign was a 3 star athlete. Now you're wondering, why am I talking about these star athletes, or like 5-star, 4-star, 3-star? Why does that matter? Well, I'm going to tell you. I came across a study called Revenue Per Quality of College Football Recruits, and it was created by two individuals, which were both from Ohio State University. One was Ohio State University's economics professor, Trevon Logan, and an economics student named Stephen A. Bergman. And basically, in the study, they provided estimates of player monetary value in college football. They estimated that 5-star recruits increased annual revenue by $650,000. 4-star recruits increased revenue by $350,000. And 3-star recruits increased revenue by $150,000. Now, here's the crazy part. According to them, 2-star recruits reduced annual revenue by $13,000. To me, this explains a lot why Power 5 schools go after these 5 and 4-star athletes, because they understand that every 5-star athlete they get, that's $650,000 in their pocket. Now imagine if they get 10 5-star recruits. That's $6,500,000. And then imagine if they got, 8 4-star recruits. I'm not about to do the math, because I'm not a math major, but I'll let y'all do that. I gave you guys all of these numbers, but I just want to make sure one thing is very clear. The information that I got from them, these aren't numbers that just came out of the air when Trevon Logan and Stephen A. Bergman were creating this study. They actually created a formula, and they were able to come up with an equation that helped them get these numbers. So I'm going to show you guys that formula. Not the formula, but I'm going to basically show you guys a quote that they said that explains what they were considering when they were finding out these numbers. In the study, Logan and Bergman stated this is the first study to exploit player-specific ex-ante recruit ratings, team performance, and football-specific revenue and profit to infer players' valuations. So these aren't just numbers that came out the air. Logan and Bergman concentrated on ex-ante ratings of players and the relationships to revenue. Having all of these top recruits help these colleges generate millions of dollars. Recently I read an article which was titled "The 27 Schools That Make at least $100 million in College Sports," and out of the 27 schools, all of them play for Power 5 conferences. Now, Power 5 conference is a SEC conference, the Big 10 conference, the Big 12 conference, the Pac-10 conference, and the ACC. And those conferences are are the schools that have the best of the best, are considered to have the best of the best athletes. So that's where majority of the top 5 and the top 4 athletes go, and then they sprinkle in a 3-star and a 2-star sometimes. But back to the topic, all 27 schools are Power 5. None of them were HBCUs. And can you guess which top 3 sports help them to generate the most money? I'll give you a second. Alright, if you guessed football, men's basketball, and women's basketball, you were right. So out of those 3 sports, those sports help create a revenue that's over $100 million. That's crazy. And then to piggyback off of that, I read another article. I did tell you guys I did a lot of research, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys a lot of studies. But I came across another, not article, but I came across another study. And this one it has a long name, so I have to read it for you guys. Black male student athletes and racial inequalities in NCAA Division I college sports. That was a lot. But that study was done by Sean R. Harper, and he's a professor at the University of Southern California, and it was also created by the USC's Race and Equality Center. And in the study, And in the study, they pointed out that out of the 65 campuses that are considered a Power 5 school, blacks make up 55% of the football team and 56% of the basketball team. Now here's another kicker. Although, blacks make up 55% of the football team and blacks make up 56% of the basketball team, blacks only make up 2.4% of the undergraduates at those schools. So when I read that, the assumption that I made was that basically almost all of the blacks at these schools are athletes. Because if it says 2.4, well, that's what, 98.6% non-black. Now, if my math is off, let me know, but I think I got that right. But that's crazy. Now, oftentimes people say the reason why 5-star or 4-star recruits don't go to HBCUs is because of lack of TV exposure and poor facilities. Okay, but imagine if 10 5-star recruits decided to go to one HBCU. If one 5-star recruit equals $650,000, and that HBCU was able to get 10 5-star recruits, that's $6,500,000. Now imagine if other HBCUs made this a trend and they were able to, lure these top recruits to come, to these schools. Then the lack of TV exposure wouldn't be an issue, because then, the media such as, ESPN, CBS, Bleacher Report, all of those, media outlets, they would have to go to those schools because that's where the top athletes are, and that's where the athletes who are projected to, play professionally are playing. And then, those conferences would be able to make deals with, news outlets like ABC, CBS, Fox, and make, millions of dollars, like what ESPN does, and what, not what ESPN does, like what, the SEC does, what the ACC does, what the Big Ten does, what the Pac-10 does, and what the Big 12 does. Now, if the MEAC and the SWAC were able to switch positions, lack of TV exposure and poor facilities would not be an issue, because then that money that's being generated from these athletes would help, the athletic departments to, create these facilities that are considered top-notch and not subpar. Now, speaking of facilities, I'm going to give you an example. So, North Carolina A&T Aggies, they have won the HBCU National Championship 3 out of the 4 past years. Alright? Now, they have the status of being national champions. But if you look at their facilities, which I'm going to show you now, their facilities do not equate national champions. This is North Carolina A&T's, locker room. Now I'm going to show you their stadium. What you're looking at is a 3-time national champion stadium for HBCU. Now, we've seen Clemson, we've seen Alabama, we've seen LSU, we've seen Oregon's, we've seen Florida's, we've seen, the list can go on and on. You've seen how their locker rooms and weight rooms and stadiums look. If 10 5-star recruits decided to make a pack and decide to go to one HBCU, that $6 million that they would generate could help turn their locker room, the athletic facility, their stadium into something that looks like Clemson's, which I'm going to show you right now. Look at this. Now, Clemson's football complex was $55 million. Just their football complex, no other sport. And I know they won, the national championship, about 2 times in the last couple of years. Look, they even have a replica of the hill that they walk down during games inside their complex. If you scroll further down, which I'm scrolling further down, excuse my grammar, their facilities feature players' lounges, a team locker room, a recovery nap room, an equipment room, a 24 HD theater, a plunge pool, a nutrition center, a weight room, a training room, an indoor slide. What do you need a slide for? A team meeting room, an outdoor amenities. Now you're gonna see what each one of those things look like. So that's the outdoor That's the outdoor man, amenities. Why is that word killing me like that? My bad. I know you guys get words like that where you get like a tongue twister for no reason. I'm having one of those days. But this is how the outdoor amenities look. This is how the football complex looks. This is their stadium. Now remember how North North Carolina A&T Stadium looked? Compare that to this. This is their, what is this? This is their players' lounge. This is their locker room. Clemson's locker room blows North Carolina A&T's out of the stadium. Out of the water. Well, out of the stadium too, basically, if you wanted to use that type of terminology. Look at their training room. Look at that plunge pool. They got a recovery nap room. This is their equipment room. This is their fuel bar, a nutrition center. Clemson has their own cafeteria. Clemson football team has their own cafeteria. I bet North Carolina A&T has to share the same cafeteria with, the regular population at that campus. And they won their national championship 3 years. How many did Clemson win in the last couple of years? I'm just saying. This is their team meeting room. This is a Pod Journey Center. I don't know what a Pod Journey Center is. But this is their weight room. This is 25,000 square feet. Look, this is their indoor practice facility. Now, I just wanted to make sure that you understood where I was coming from. I know I sound redundant, but I'm just speaking facts. If Professor Logan says a 4-star athlete is worth $350,000 and a 5-star athlete is worth $650,000, imagine if these athletes came to a HBCU. Not just one or two, but imagine 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to, each HBCU. Then, what is happening in the Power 5 would happen in, the HBCU conferences, which is the SWAC and the MEAC. Now, excuse me, I have to look at this paper. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't have money for it, so excuse me, and this isn't ESPN. If you got a problem with me reading the paper, then buy me a teleprompter. I'll drop the Cash App name below. Alright? But just to piggyback on what I was saying, if these HBCUs decided to go, if these top athletes decided to go to an HBCU, things would change. And I'll give you a perfect example. In 2012, when Norfolk State, a 15th seed, defeated Missouri, a number 2 seed, during the 2012 NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament, NSU was able to generate $2 to $4 million for their school that year. So imagine if, these athletes decided to come to, all of these HBCUs. I think that the same thing would happen multiple times at multiple schools. Now, I'm at the end of the video, and before I go, I just want to end the video with a quote. Now, the quote that I'm going to share with you guys is from McCurry Maker. And McCurry Maker, he said, I'll actually show you it. We got to lead. Everybody got to lead. Everybody got to take a stand and do something. And if I'm doing this, it's going to bring awareness to the choices that we have to make. And as top recruits, we have to make choices that are responsible and to better our community. McCurry Maker said this during ESPN journalists' McCurry Maker said this during ESPN journalists Pablo Torre's podcast on ESPN Daily. And I think what Maker is saying symbolizes what blacks are trying to do now. I'm black, so I believe I can speak for blacks. We're trying to strengthen our communities. We're trying to build up our communities. We're trying to make sure that the black dollar circulates for more than just 6 hours. Now, I'm pretty much done. If you like this video, please give it a like. Please comment what you thought about it, what you disliked about it, what you felt I could have done better. Subscribe. Check out my website, ShaheemSutherland.com, and check my YouTube channel for more videos. And have a great day.